Jayant, there's a small message. To be very honest, I had a very low day. I had a very upsetting day and I haven't slept the entire night last night. Though I performed my duties, my events, my schedule, my day, my work couldn't suffer. So I continued with a big smile from external smile and from inside. I know how I was feeling, and my wife and son are unconsolable. I will tell you something. Entire family is heartbroken right now. See, we are an animal loving family. We've always kept pets. In fact, I have grown up with pets. I was not even a toddler where I grew up with my black Labrador Jessie, who lived with us for almost 14 years. And after that came Caddy. Caddy, because when my father's a golfer, and when he was practicing, the golf club came and hit him, hit her rather. Sorry. So after massaging her and after rubbing her, she she came back and started jumping again. So they named her Caddy when she was a little pup. And then came Sparky, who was a German Shepherd and Alsatian. We also had Topsy, this Dalmatian pup. And so we've always had pets. Always. Now we have this amazing, beautiful, handsome Labrador, Casper. I was never fond of cats. I always liked dogs. I love dogs, in fact. I always and cats. Somewhere I was very not very comfortable with cats. But since my wife is a Leo and she loves cats, so somewhere developed a liking for cats, and my son loves cats as well. So when we were in Bombay, and at that time, just very very recently before the pandemic, we moved from there in the pandemic only. So there were cats in our society. So I made friends with cats, and that's where slowly and gradually, uh, second week of August, we adopted a small, adorable, like really adorable, like oh my god, we adopted this small kitten. No, of course we had a cat earlier. We had a Persian cat earlier, and Kitty, her name was. Somebody wanted, so we gave Kitty for adoption. We like, okay, I mean, if they would be able to take care of her, because we were not here that time. My parents were in Aligarh at that time. So anyway, so we kept Coco. Why I'm telling this to you all is I want to make you all informed about something which I wasn't until yesterday. My perception, totally my views, totally my opinion. But I want to, for the benefit of you all, I would, for pet lovers, I connect with them. I know how they feel. A pet is a part of your family. I mean, it becomes a family member, and they become like human beings. They start reacting and communicating with you just like human beings. So, second week of August, we got this adorable cat, kitten rather, who was, I think, just about 2 months old or so, when we got her. And we named her Coco. We had seen Coco's photographs on the internet. The adoption people had displayed it as an ad. So we had seen Coco's photographs. So we went to look for Coco, who was a male cat. So they said no, Coco is and beautiful looking cat, Coco. So we had a hard set on Coco. So we went there for Coco, but for some reason Coco was shy to come out. So we ended up adopting Coco's sister. Coco was the name of the cat which we had gone to adopt. The name was already given by the actual masters. Now we named the sister also Coco. We would take care of Coco like I can't tell you how. I really can't tell you. I can't describe it. Genuinely, trust me. I mean, just like a human baby. I mean, never not. We pampered her, took care of her. We are so happy. She brought in so much of happiness and positivity, and things were changing for us, in fact. And Coco was there, always there to cheer us up and always there to bring us happiness. If you see her pictures, oh my god, the best cat in the world. Really. And imagine my fear and this thing, discomfort of cats just went away completely. So Coco was there, and we would feed her from time to time and brush her and take care of her, and she would just play with us. And she was like, they say that cats are very secluded; they don't like company, but this one would love company. Oh my god, she would love. She would sit on my shoulder, she get inside me, and just do that and scrub her and rub herself, and कि आओ मेरे को प्यार करो, and she would purr, meow, meow, and whatnot. So anyway, and we are very careful about Coco, very careful कि भाई कमरे से बाहर नहीं निकलेगी Coco. कमरा कमरा खुला हल्का सा and she would come out. But no, we wouldn't let Coco come out at all. Even going to the balcony, one day she fell off from the balcony, in fact. And a heart came out from her mouth. But luckily she went unharmed. My cousin Hiba, she has a cat, Hobbs. In fact, she has a couple of cats, in fact. And my uncle in Bombay, my uncle and aunt, they also have this cat. Buddhu, her name is. Because she also fell down once from the second floor and she fractured her limb. But they plastered it and she became all right. So, like, how can a cat fall down? Buddhu. That's how they named her Buddhu, perhaps. Anyway, so our Coco was so adorable. Yesterday, the plumber had come to do some work. He left the gate open, he left the door open by mistake. And that was a moment, that was a time when Coco, our beloved cat, just slipped out. I was on a live session at that time, and we were all busy with the respective work. And it's never happened that Coco has stepped out. We wouldn't let her go out at all. We would, if at all, we would hold her ourselves, take her for a walk outside, or we really she was like a baby, yeah, just like a baby. So she slipped out, and we had no idea at that time, and we were busy with the respective work. And I heard the dogs bark outside, and I heard a major dog fight going on outside. They were barking and growling, and they were screeching, and they were like, how a dog fight is. That kind of total effects were going on. I heard it. I thought maybe some dogs fighting or something, and or probably at times what happens is a different dog of a different territory comes in this area. So the stray dogs in this area, they start barking, and there's a fight like that. So I thought probably, but then Casper is our Labrador. We felt Casper wasn't involved because just a minute earlier, just 1 minute back, Coco and Casper were right here. And then I heard a lady shout from there, Casper, no! And that is when I realized that no, there's something wrong. Casper's involved in this fight. I thought perhaps the dogs have attacked Casper. I was on the second floor. I rushed down from the steps, took out a stick, and went outside where the dogs are barking. And I saw this gang of dogs outside, and Casper was there. Immediately, I pulled Casper by his collar and I took him inside. Casper, go inside, you're safe. And then I saw my father at the gate. And I thought it was only up till Casper, right? And then I saw my dad at the gate. He was looking and he said, oh my God, is that our cat? So I came there and I saw active Coco who gave us a lot of happiness, who couldn't sit in one place. You know how cats are, they would always jump and move around from here there. She would never sit in one place for more than a second normally if she's by herself. When she's with me, it would not take me 2 seconds to pat Coco and she would start purring. That is a joy and happiness. And there were times when I wanted to go to the washroom perhaps, but Coco was sitting on me. So I don't want to get up and disturb her. I don't know if she'll get disturbed. If my hand is in an uncomfortable position and Coco's sitting there, I would not disturb my hand. I said, no, 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 Coco will get disturbed. So the moment I came out, I saw Coco was lying outside the house. There's an empty plot. She was lying there. She was not moving. Only her head was, she was trying to move her head. So I was like, what happened? And I rushed towards Coco and she would still not move. I called her, Coco, Coco, Coco. She would still not move. And then I came close to her. And of course, I mean, she had gone through trauma. She had gone through, what had happened was the stray dogs. She's not trusting Casper, right? Slowly, it took us a while. It took us months, months and months of hard work to actually get Coco and Casper to become friends. Casper would bark at her and get excited and chase her around. But ultimately, they had become. And I had personally worked hard. I would make them sit together. I would monitor Casper, holding Casper's movement until the time now when they were actually friends. And now she had started trusting Casper. So because she trusted Casper, she didn't perceive dogs to be a threat. That dogs are coming near you, and so of course, I mean, they will not harm you. So the stray dogs. So when we heard the neighbors, the lady shout, "Casper, no!" And then I rushed down and asked what exactly had happened. Then she narrated her sequence of events, and I will tell you exactly later on. We inferred today what exactly had happened. So she said that the we all we saw was Casper. The cat was lying there still, and Casper was standing there around and sniffing after a dog had taken Coco in his mouth and he had done. And they were dogs which had played tug of war with our dear Coco, who was like a daughter to me. Horrible. It was painful. It was, I can't tell you how painful it was. Anyway, so we were thinking maybe Casper, without he's an animal after all, maybe he didn't have the sense, or maybe he could have also have joined the dogs, or what exactly happened. Because Labradors normally genetically they do not bite. They are like Persian or Siamese cats. They don't bite. They are not they don't have the genes for that normally. They're very friendly. So anyway, we were wondering, and the whole night I didn't sleep. Whole night. We cried. We cried the entire night till morning. Anyway, so when this happened, we immediately, without wasting a moment, I picked up Coco from there in my lap. I took her inside and I got my mask out and I rushed with my wife and we rushed towards, I told my wife that, I was opened for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. And those 10 seconds, such a big thing happened. So my wife and we rushed to the vet. My son was crying. What happened to Coco? I'll also come to the veterinary doctor. They said, no, this virus is spreading and you better stay at home. We didn't allow him to come. And he was at home with my parents. We live in a joint family. And we went to the veterinary doctor. The vet took up at least 2.5 hours. I mean, in his procedure, he put on oxygen, he put on drip. Poor thing. He also tried his best to revive her and to medicate her and to he gave her anti-rabies injections or whatever. I mean, he said every 3 days you have to come here continuously for 3 days for her anti-rabies shots and such things, and we were ready. But then we found that her hind legs from behind they were not moving. So he said perhaps she has got an injury in her spinal cord. So we'll have to do an X-ray and to see the level of injury. So we did Coco's X-ray, and in the X-ray there were two major hurt in her spinal cord, and two major, not one, two. So we were very upset. But he said that no, even if she survives, the chances of her that she'll be lame perhaps. She will not be able to walk. And so I was prepared. In fact, somebody over there in the veterinary hospital also was there. He said that, if it's a lame cat, you must put her to sleep. And though I'm not cruel to animals, I love animals. And their suffering is very, very bad. And, because if you have a spinal injury normally, you lose control of your bowel as well. I mean, which means you cannot do number one, number two. You cannot control it. It just comes out. And it is very, and especially cats are very clean animals. So we said, no, we love her way too much. We are prepared to do everything as long as बस वो मरे ना, बस वो she should make it, बस वो जिंदा रहे बस. And he stitched her belly, which the dog had ripped, and they had punctured her. And they were like over 100 bites. So there were dogs who had really 100 bites on that poor little creature. Can you beat it? And Coco was there on my in the pictures on my Facebook. She had brought so much of happiness, I cannot tell you. So anyway, so the dogs. We came back from the veterinary doctor at about 3. We came back. Yeah, at about 3:30 we came back, and the vet doctor said that for 2 hours, just don't feed her anything. After 2 hours, you can feed her water or liquid diet or milk or something, liquid. Because if she eats something and when she passes stool, she will exert pressure. And when she exerts pressure, that the stitches could open. So be very, very careful on that. So we got her home. And after 2 hours, we were with her, gave her love, spent time. She couldn't breathe. She was finding it difficult to breathe. Her tongue was totally out. It was a very, very bad scene with Coco, actually. So anyway, we were continuously monitoring Coco's breath, and she tried to lift her head at one time, and it collapsed. I mean, she couldn't balance her head. So we were like, this is serious. And then there was bleeding from a stool, continuous, profuse bleeding. First, it came out like mucus, which was red stool. First we passed, we were like wondering why is he passing red stool. So I kept calling up, like, if someone's unwell, if a member of our family is unwell, we call up the doctor continuously. And then, we are not the types who would want to pester and disturb somebody after every 1 or 2 minutes, keep calling up. So here, after every 2 minutes, I was calling up the vet doctor, and I can't get through the vet directly, right? So I have to first call the reception, hold, and then the doctor will come. He was very kind and very nice. I mean, God bless him, he tried his best. He genuinely did. So the vet came online, and after every 2 minutes, I said, "No, doctor, right now she's bleeding. Right now she can't breathe. Right now." So every 2 minutes, I was calling up. Finally, he said, "Okay, you take a picture and I'll give you a WhatsApp number of the clinic. Only you send a how's she breathing. You take a video and send it." But she was really in a very bad shape. So I said, "नहीं डॉक्टर, लग रहा है कि वो किसी भी वक्त अभी बस दम तोड़ सकती है. उसकी हालत ऐसी हो रही है." Well, she was gasping for breath, literally. So we rushed towards the vet again. And now vet again put her on oxygen, on drip, and on other life support. So I asked the doctor, "Doctor, please be honest to yourself, to us, and to Coco. If you are not honest right now, you will be doing great disservice to yourself, to your profession, to us, and to the pet. What are the chances of Coco's survival?" So he put a stethoscope. He said, "See, I'll be very honest with you. She hardly has any heartbeat, hardly has any oxygen level. We have give this is artificial life support we have put her on." And I said, "Doctor, what do you suggest? What do we do?" And he said, "See, I'll be very honest. You just take her home right now. She has 0% chance of survival. It's a matter of 10 to 15 minutes and she will be passed away. She's already turning cold. Just put your hand on her, feel her." She was getting cold, in fact. So he said, "Just put a heater in your room and make her sit next to a heater with a back side towards the heater, not the face, the back side." So immediately I called up my father. I told him, "Please switch on the heater there." And my father did that, very nice of him. He switched on the heater and such things. And by the time we entered the room, we placed Coco over there, and she couldn't breathe and she was gasping for breath. And we were like, "Coco," and we kept speaking to her, we kept giving up. And my son and my wife are unconsolable, absolutely. So was I from inside, but I was trying to put up a brave front. One person has to be there to put up a brave front and to show that, no, guys, relax, all will be well. And then Coco breathed her last at about, I think it was 7:30 in the evening. We couldn't believe it. And I was shattered and disheartened, and I don't know how. Sorry. It was a very bad experience, very bad. And then, of course, Casper, our Labrador, also sensed that there's something wrong. And Casper, of course, I mean, Casper tried to rescue Coco and fought with those dogs, but the dogs outnumbered Casper. So it was a very, very painful experience. And so anyway, so I close by, I went and buried Coco, and we wrapped her up in a cloth. We dug a deep grave for her, quite deep, so that dogs don't come and they dig up that grave, or the smell doesn't come out. And we put a full packet of salt around, and we buried Coco in her. And it was, imagine, it was like burying a human child. Yeah, I mean, heartbroken, completely heartbroken, devastated, devastated. My wife and my father. We have very good neighbors, in fact. The one who was trying to stop Casper, to very good neighbors, Amit ji, Ranjani ji, and their daughter-in-law, their son, their daughter, they're all very, very helpful. In fact, they are dog lovers themselves, they are pet lovers. They know the pain. They lost their lab, their golden, beautiful lab, just last year, in fact, who they are very attached to. And of course, the pain, I'm sure you all are watching, because you all are watching because you're pet lovers, right? You all love animals and you all know how it feels. So they were very, extremely helpful, extremely kind. But one thing we learned, when my father was small, he was attached to a cat by the name of Tabby. It was a Siamese cat. And so finally, when my father got his commission and he went for his training and all, so of course he couldn't take care of Tabby. So he handed over Tabby to his aunt, who again looked after Tabby very, very well, very well. But Tabby was friends with the dog. Tabby was friends with the dog, the pet dog. So Tabby started perceiving dogs not to be a threat. And that is what happened in our case. Coco didn't perceive dogs to be a threat. So apparently, the plumber came today as well. I asked him, "Bhai, kya hua? What are the sequence of events? Hua kya tha?" Because though my wife says, "Don't talk about it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to talk about it. Neither do I want to know." But I said, "No. Let us. I want to know for my own satisfaction what exactly happened to my little baby here." So then the plumber told us that when the stray dogs came towards Coco, because she didn't run, she didn't react. She trusted those stray dogs. She trusted those stray dogs that, अरे दोस्त है अपना, कैस्पर की तरह है, कोई बात नहीं, वो करीब और आ गई, कोई बात नहीं. And they caught her. And then they played tug of war and they ripped her. And it was that is when the dog fight was going on. When I heard the sound of the dogs barking, and I rushed down. So moral of the story is, well, people who have suffered a loss of the pet, some many times, like when we lost our first pet, for a long time we didn't keep, after Jesse, we didn't keep Caddy. We thought, nay, it is too painful when a pet departs. It's like a family member, losing a family member. We didn't keep a pet. So now we had to take a tough call that we would not. Casper's there, of course, he's a darling, he's adorable, he's a sweetheart. And today, Casper's morale has been down since morning. So Casper can sense the loss of his cousin sister, Coco, though Casper the dog and Coco was a kitten, a cat. So Casper has been very, very upset. If I tell you how he's rather behaving very, very unusual. But because obviously he sensed the loss. And the neighbors told us that, I asked what exactly happened. I want to know. They said, see, we saw the cat lying there, motionless, and Casper was standing around it and smelling the cat. So we were a bit puzzled at that time. What could have happened? That do you think Casper could have attacked the cat or what exactly? But no, Casper is too friendly with the cat. Animal, hai. So we don't know. So, but today we got to know that when the plumber told me that no, the stray dogs attacked Casper, went to smell her and sniff her and to pay his hamdardi towards Coco, and that is what happened. that is when I saw Coco, totally lifeless, motionless. Moral of the story is, don't let your cat and your dog become friends. I have often seen photographs on social media, looks very good. A cat mounting, riding on a dog, and we feel, "Arey," and that is what I wished for Coco and Casper. I said, I've seen these pictures of a dog, of a kitten riding on top of a dog. And how cute. I wish Coco and Casper can be like this. How cute is this? And that's what I was working towards, to get them friends. And they were making progress. Coco had developed that confidence to come in front of Casper now. And Casper had stopped chasing her or being ferocious with her. Anyhow, so I want to share my pain with you all. I'm feeling much better speaking to you all. And I want to tell everyone who are animal lovers, pet lovers, dog lovers, cat lovers, many of you would have parrots or a turtle or any kind of pet. See, if you're a pet lover, this is a fact and a reality of life. You have to accept the fact and the reality also. When the pet is going, you have to let go as well. It's a pain. Yes, but we have decided that we will keep a cat again very soon. So hopefully tomorrow I am going again to adopt a cat, just like Coco. And we will, my son insists we'll name her Coco only. Yes, we will insist. We will. But, like my first dog, Jessie, we had several dogs thereafter, right? But Jessie ऐसी कोई नहीं है अभी तक. No one can match up to Jesse's intelligence and Jesse's affection and a dog. Though all our dogs were like adorable. Casper is a darling, real darling. Similarly, no one can take Coco's place in our heart. Yeah. Anyway, I wish you all. I mean, I wish you all well, and please take care of your pets. Please take care of your pets. And you can't blame or accuse these stray dogs also, because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're predators, right? For uh, cat and dogs, you know how it is. Though, yes, we have seen a deer and a tiger or a leopard or a cheetah or a lion, they become friends also. वो भी देखा है ना हमने. उसी तरीके से कैस्पर और कोको की भी दोस्ती हो गई थी. They were also friends. But then I just wanted to caution you all. I hope you all will be careful, and because my pain, I hope you all who are listening to me can relate to it, and I hope some of you at least can drive a lesson. Rest is your choice. I'm not saying that it has to happen this way कि भाई cat और dog की दोस्ती नहीं हो सकती है या हो सकती है ना. मैं अपना तजुर्बा बता रहा हूँ. I'm telling my experience, what we underwent and what we went through and what we endured. I hope through my experience something आपको भी कुछ सीख मिल सकती है इससे. Something you can learn from this. But I know it's very painful to say, as people say, life goes on, right? So I performed the whole day. Right now it's 8:30. See, it's been 24 hours since Coco's gone, and I haven't slept a wink, not even a second at night, not a wink. I'm not feeling sleepy. I'm not feeling fatigued. But yes, I performed all my duties. I performed all my work. I had a couple of live sessions on television. I did that. I had some very interesting webinars. I did that. I had live conversations on YouTube. In fact, when you hear me speak over there with the kind of energy, you would not make out that I had those lives with two very, very lustrous personalities. You cannot make out that I had that. The pain, but what I was going inside me. So I have to be brave. Bravery is nothing but not showing your fear, right? So take care. I wish you all well, and I hope you all pray for my darling Coco. Coco, wherever you are, I'm sure you are in a better place. My cousin, who's a very dear friend of mine as well, Zafar Shah, he lost his dog recently, just very recently. And I share his sentiments and his pain. And losing a pet is like really, really very bad. You take care, everyone. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope No one has to suffer this kind of loss go in such a painful way. Take care. Jai Hind.